we have a speaker coming up who's going to be sharing her insights with us. We're going to be talking about the growing influence of women over the world of wealth and investment. And we've got somebody who's eminently qualified to talk about that here today. She has been nominated and awarded the Business Woman of the Year, built up her own businesses in public relations, in marketing, which sounds a lot like some people call that the soft side of business, but a lot of the clients were in the hard science business like Aerospatiale, Alcatel, high tech. And she's going to be joining us today to share some of her insights about this influence, this growing influence of women in business and investment and how we can extend that. We would like to welcome Leila Alatin. She is a board member of Alucar Holdings and president of Alvi Medica from here in Turkey. Please come and join me. All right, I'm taking over the session, ladies and gentlemen. We're very tightly scheduled today, and so Harry Tommy Davies is actually somehow got double booked. And so he's doing a class, and so I am more than thrilled to step in and take over his role. Not often I get to sit down with a Business Woman of the Year. My wife is in business, and she is like the woman of the day every day in my life, and she never lets me forget it, but rare a Businesswoman of the Year. So we want to talk about women in business, and because obviously, you've been there. You've overcome the hurdles, you've overcome the challenges, and really gone to the heights of business in Turkey. But I'm sure that you had to face challenges along the way that a lot of men don't. Like, business is challenging for anybody, but you had a lot that you had to do. And so maybe you can tell us a little bit about your story, and then we can get into what that has taught you about how we can help women in business and where you see their exercise. So let's start with your story. Can you give us a little bit of that? We've only got about 10 minutes here today, so the short version.
Not many people.
The highlights.
Seem to be interested in women in business. It seems. Is it over here? Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Well done. Okay.
I said not many women seem to be interested in how we are doing, but anyhow, we have men as an audience, which is even better because they would understand maybe our challenges. Well, we are usually a minority in the meetings, especially the higher you go up in the corporation, the more women are the minority, so they don't belong to the club. They are not feeling at ease because they are always alone. Yep. And many times misunderstood or not understood. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it's challenging and it's lonelier at the top. Mm-hmm. And therefore, we need to get stronger and more assertive. That doesn't mean aggressive, which is being confused many times.
Yeah. Where does that strength come from? Like, where do you go for that strength? I mean, it's fine to say just be strong, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Where did you find that strength?
Well, practice makes perfect.
Okay.
The more you practice, the more perfect you become, and you try to convince more. Maybe you have a lot more to do than others, and with your different approaches, ideas, and views, I think you get more and more accepted and respected. I think women bring a different point of view, a different form of thinking, and they always have a different plan B or C.
Right.
Therefore, they are respected. Therefore, they add. And we see today that the more corporations have women at the decision-making level, the more successful they are.
Okay.
The numbers show it.
In your rise, when you got into business, were there women in your life who were able to share with you or help lend to your strength or to give you advice on, you say women do things differently. Were there at that time, were there other women in your business community that could help you out? Or were you really having to blaze a path out there and, try?
Not many, but I always followed the world, what's happening, and I was always learning, reading about women who made it, about the role models. I remember. Were
they Turkish women or were they women in other countries?
No, they were women in other countries.
At that time, there weren't many here.
Yeah, especially in the States where I studied.
Okay.
So I went to the American Women Economic Development Conference where there were many wonderful speakers with 3,000 audience as only women. So those role models influence you a lot. They give you, they inspire you. They become like, you know, if she made it, why shouldn't I make it? It's a big empowerment to see role models. That's why I'm out there to inspire younger ladies to do it.
And so I guess if I can ask you two questions, one looking up and then, you know, looking down to help others, can you remember one of those people that inspired you? That would be the first question. And then the follow-up would be, are you using that now to mentor or support women in the business community here in Istanbul, Turkey broadly?
I do a lot of mentoring, even to men, why not?
Yeah.
I don't differentiate. And I make part of Kagidar, which is the Women Entrepreneurs Association. I am a founding member.
Yep.
And I do a lot of talks for Turkish WIN. And they have sections like Campus WIN in every university. The group of young girls form the Campus WIN. I mean, I'm very generous in really talking in all those milieus so that I can inspire or I can, you know, suggest what I know, to share what I know. But I have been inspired by the ones in the States.
In the States in particular. Are you working with people, so I understand speaking to a group, do you work with women on a one-on-one basis? And are they coming to you and confiding that they're facing situations now that maybe you didn't have to face? Are there new things that are happening in terms of women in business? And are you you know, how do you advise? Can you give us an example of where a woman's come and said, you know, I'm not telling anybody else, but I really need your help? Like something like that? Yeah?
Sure. How to handle sexual harassment, how to handle the abuse, or how to ask for a career advancement plan. And I'm very approachable through the social media. Today, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those tools make you very approachable.
Okay.
And of course, I cannot answer to each and every one of them, but it also works as a hotline. I mean, everybody can approach me.
And do people open up more through those channels? Are they more honest or more, you know, kind of tell you the deeper, darker secrets of their soul?
They tend to sometimes abuse it, but I don't let it. Because it's limited time and limited, you know, how much I can do. I'm not a coach.
You're not a life coach, you're not a psychologist.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I know my limitations, and they should know also their limitations. But for example, the ones who are looking for a job, I would say send the CV to this and that person from HR.
Right.
Now, I would tend to help, definitely.
Okay. So there's women in business, but then there's women in wealth and influencing wealth. And, you know, we're all about the angel investment ecosystem here. Do you see more women getting involved in angel investment? Do you see more women having access to wealth where they could then deploy it and make decisions about their own investments and mentor companies? Is that starting to happen in Turkey yet?
That's very, very premature in Turkey, I would say. Don't forget that the accumulation of wealth is just very recently. And now women can also think about where to invest intelligently. And but I see, for example, in Kagidar, there are lots of women entrepreneurs, and once they sell their company, maybe they then can think about how to place that money in different projects. But the ecosystem is there. It's really developing very fast, and especially women in tech, women who developed an application or an e-commerce site. Those are the ones who are also growing very fast.
Okay.
And they are the ones who will be, I think, leading that group.
Yeah. So given there's not many women, you know, influencing the wealth yet, are you able to explain to those young women entrepreneurs how to deal with investors and male advisors and say, listen, ladies, you want to get funded, you know, it's different. You know, this is some extra things you have to keep in mind. What are those things?
We are doing a lot of workshops
Yeah.
at the startup hubs. You know, they have.
But what do you tell them in those workshops that's different than you would tell a male entrepreneur?
Different than a male entrepreneur, I wouldn't say anything different because money has no sex, no gender.
Right.
And ideas have no sex or gender either.
Okay.
They can be just good or bad,
Right.
profitable or not.
Okay.
So it's.
So, I mean, in Silicon Valley, there's been a wave of scandals that's coming out now that successful entrepreneurs who are also angel investors were, as you say, you know, sexual harassing potential, you know, people pitching companies to them. Come to our crazy parties, you know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and you'll get an investment. And I mean, that's
power
that's America,
corrupts.
but,
When,
yeah.
especially for power and money, you need very good stomach and intestines.
Yeah.
If they're not there very strongly, they really mess up the whole body.
That's for
sure. I don't wish money or fame to people who cannot digest it. It's very self-destructive, actually.
Yeah.
So
they spread it to other people, like people looking for investment.
Exactly. Unfortunately, they also people question also the other ones. They put everyone in the same pot, which is not right, of course.
Yeah. So you've been successful in business. Are you also investing as well? Are you investing in new startups?
I have all my investment in a medical device company. Therefore, I can only admire the other ones, but not invest yet.
Yet. Okay.
Yet.
Sounds
But
good.
it's enough of a challenging business where I am in, because it's new for Turkey, and it's production, and it's we are depending so much on imports of those items that to produce it in Turkey, it's a very challenging project.
Ah, okay. So if somebody came to you with a startup that would maybe be a strategic investment to help you get what you need, make it easier to get what you need, or at a lower cost, you might
Always
look at
open. Also, there are many companies that come with their startups, with their little, invention. We are open to those.
Okay.
Why not? And I think we will be a hub very soon for those little investors or startups to come together. Since we sell to 70 different countries, they cannot go and have their distribution or sales in those countries right away.
Yeah.
But if we could help them exactly in the marketing, why not? We will be a hub. Yeah, it will be a hub for the new startups. That's what is next for me.
Okay. Leila Altintan, thank you for being an inspiration to entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, not just in Turkey, but to people from all around the world like me. Thank you very much for joining us at the CEO Entrepreneurship Summit. Ladies and gentlemen, Leila Altintan, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Cheers.